was just like doing the homework. I was just like, oh no, I'm not doing homework. I'm having an orgasm.
Ooh.
I'm just like, oh my God, what?
The blending and the...
This is my homework? And then it automatically brought me back to when I was around 7 or 8 years old in Venezuela, Valencia, that I was in art classes. And when I was little, really little, like probably 4 to 9, I always wanted to be an artist. And I was obsessed with like these art kits very expensive art kits that my parents could never get for me. But I remember when I was little, I always wanted to be an artist. And I remember that I was obsessed with doodling the naked body, like the woman naked body. And I would draw these really voluptuous women, like giant breasts. Of course, except my brother might call me, and I am on Do Not Disturb, but if he calls me, I should answer because he's my baby.
That's beautiful, and we'll put him on the air, you know what I'm saying? Big shout out to him. Ladies and gentlemen, how you doing? It's your motherfucking boy, Gamero, the Pharaoh, the poor man's Robert De Niro, you know what I'm talking about? That's the beard. How's life? How you doing? I am also very ecstatic for today's episode, you know what I'm saying? We have a talent of colossal proportions. That reminds me of when I was watching Girls Gone Wild infomercials back then. Big shout out 13-year-old me, you know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, it is a beautiful, beautiful Tuesday evening, you know what I'm saying? Changing it up today for midnight in Miami, and you are viewing this at Thursday at midnight, you know what I'm saying? And it's another beautiful, beautiful day that is just orange juice in that beverage. Beautiful day at Midnight in Miami Studios, you know what I'm talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, behind the scenes, before we get to the illustrious guest we have today, ladies and gentlemen, behind the scenes, there's a man who's about to knock over all the cameras, and I kind of regret giving him alcohol before this show. You know what I'm talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, you just saved your own life right there. Behind the cameras, we have Juan Cruz in the building.
Heyo, what's up?
What's going on, Cruz?
Just good. Came back from my first day at my new job.
New job, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Living that luxury hotel life, you know what I'm saying? Best believe I'm going to hit you up for that discount.
Living paycheck to paycheck.
Amen. And that's the American dream right there. That's beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what I'm saying? I know you're wondering, where is the man to my right-hand side? The man's traversing a nation. The man is out there, and he's traveling the world, and he's spreading the good word of Midnight in Miami, and that's Emmy. Ladies and gentlemen, to my left hand side. Oh my God, I don't even know how to get through this introduction, because ladies and gentlemen, the woman to my left-hand side, this woman to my left-hand side is a woman who works on her craft day in and day out. You know what I'm talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a woman whom I've had the honor, the privilege of knowing for several years now. This is a woman who wears many hats. She is a talented powerhouse. What you need, a song? What you need, an actress?
I'm not a girl.
Okay. There you go. What
Not
you need, there you go. You need a song. You need an actress. You need a bathing suit designer. There's so many hats that this woman, you need an artist. You know what I'm talking about? There are so many hats that the woman before me wears. Ladies and gentlemen, inside the Midnight in Miami studios today, we have Nino in his house. God, that's amazing. What a...
Drink some water.
Thank you. You need to stay hydrated. You know what I'm talking about?
We stay hydrated.
Ladies and gentlemen, Nino in his house. How you doing? Nino, how are you? Thank you so very much for dropping on by today. You know what I'm saying? This is the highlight of Midnight in Miami so far.
Baby.
You know what I'm talking? This is, we brunch at Nino's, okay? I don't even know how to muster up words in order to do this today. You know what I'm talking about? I'm a little fangirling right now. You know what I'm saying? I'm damn shell shocked over here. But ladies and gentlemen, Nino Barrios in his house. I am also very happy. Thank you for dropping on Bye. No, thank you.
No.
Thank you. That's
No.
it. That's today's show. No.
No.
Nino, as someone who wears so many artistic hats, if there's something that I kind of want to get into right off the bat, with a lot of the artists that have got, that I've gotten the chance to interview, how has, this worldwide quote unquote 2-week pandemic affected you? How has it affected your ability to create art? Has it stifled you? Has it inspired you? What has it caused?
What do you mean 2 week?
I'm being sarcastic so far. You know how they were saying how it was going to be a 2-week...
No, because you know how sometimes there's these 2-week uprising in the...
Oh, yeah. No. I'm talking about how has this, pandemic affected your creative process at all? Has it stifled it?
Severely.
Yeah?
Like in a bad way.
Talk to me.
Well, when it first happened, and I'm talking like January, before everybody understood what was going on.
Right.
I was hearing about it, and from the other side of the world, and I was like, And I already have depressive and anxious tendencies.
Respect.
So
Respect,
And dude, yeah, it was only January and I was already hearing about that and I was like, oh my God. I even remember I went to the psychologist like randomly on December or January, and I brought that up like, yeah, and there's like a pandemic coming. And he was like, yeah, don't worry about that. Live day by day. And I was like, okay, copy. I was like, oh no. And then it got here and I was like, oh my God. And I just assumed that life was over. So I am a freelance illustrator / painter, I guess. And I had commissions lined up at this point, and I was like, well, the world's gonna end anyway, so I'm just not gonna do them.
Pull the Y2K over there.
So I literally people had already deposited money for these commissions, and I was just like standing by, not doing them, because I was like, well, your house is gonna be on fire in 3 weeks, so I'm just not gonna, it doesn't matter anymore.
Doesn't matter.
It's not worth framing and hanging it, because your house is gonna blow up in 4 weeks.
Right. And then what happened when the world came back? Well, I mean, it hasn't come back fully, but what happened when the world didn't end?
Well, I got COVID like pretty early on. I got it in probably June. And I was terrified. My mom was the first one that got it. And I got really scared when she got it. Then my dad got it. I got it. Then my grandma, 80-year-old grandma. That was kind of scary.
Yeah.
But she was actually okay. The one that was really bad was my brother and my dad. And then, it took over a month for all of us to come out negative. But then we all came out negative. Oh, man. And after we came out negative, we couldn't stop partying. My mom was just like, go, fly, my children.
Fly.
Go. Anything we get invited to, we would be like, yeah, we're going. Because the lockdown was pretty bad.
The lockdown is pretty bad.
Yeah.
What effect does the actual lockdown have on post everything as of right now? Are you able to still get those creative juices flowing, or do you still find it difficult?
No. Well, yes. Because I feel like if the juices were creatively flowing, then I would be whipping out an illustration every day or a painting every week. And I'm not. Let's be honest. I'm not. I'll have a sketchbook. I have my iPad and I'll do doodles every day or whatever. Or I'll paint on myself, or even I'll do my makeup. And to me, that's an artistic expression. But the pandemic did affect me in the sense that So I guess since I traveled so much before the pandemic, like I moved around in LA, New York, Miami, back to New York, back to Miami, I'm used to all that like chaos, and then the pandemic was just like
Right.
And also the addiction to social media, which
we were talking about.
it completely it got out of my hands over the pandemic, because I've been addicted to social media since probably 2017, but with the pandemic it just like it got to severe levels.
How are you so self-aware that you're able to notice it? Because some people don't even notice. Boom, you spent 8 hours on Instagram or whatever.
Well, Instagram came out in 2010 or 11, one of those two for sure. And I've been addicted since 2017 because that's when I monetized it. And it was really hard for me to blur the lines between money and entertainment and personal business. Does that make sense?
It does. Do you feel that it's a necessary evil?
No, you can totally do it without social media. It's just 99% easier.
Right.
As an artist, as a visual artist with social media, it's
right. You do a little a Procreate, a quick little video on Procreate, and boom, it's gone viral.
If the right person sees it, if you post it on Twitter, Twitter goes viral way more than Insta. Boom. But what was the original question? If I think, or how am I so self-aware that I'm addicted? Yeah, I guess the timer that comes up on Sunday nights, the screen time, like, oh, you spent an average of 4 hours and 37 minutes on screen this week. That's pretty...
Yeah, it's intense.
That's pretty intense. And you never remember that it's going to hit you. And then it comes and you're like,
right.
Oh, no, that can't be me. That can't be me. No way. But yeah, apart from that, it's just a part of my... Or it used to be. I mean, it can still be. It will be part of my business. Like I don't imagine myself. I don't imagine my business running smoothly without social media. I'm sure it can. But like I said, it's social media is such a beautiful thing that is happening to us right now.
For sure.
Yeah.
What do you do? I mean, do you just kind of like cold turkey it? Hey, I'm gonna put the phone down, or do you put it in a lock and case or something? Do you do something in particular, or?
I cold turkey everything, and that's not good, and that's why I'm taking my social media, like posting on social media break right now. Cruzy, are you okay?
Yeah, no. If you had to say something, go for it. The man's
Please.
got something to say.
Nah. I'm the camera guy. I was just checking the frame.
Okay, for
checking
sure.
the angle.
But the man's got a
making sure
microphone.
my stars look good.
You know what I'm saying? The man knows what he's doing. Nino, talk to me about the roots. Where did it start? Where the desire to become an illustrator, to paint, where did it all come from?
Bueno, there's two big moments in my life. There's when I was little, and then when I was 22, 23.
Okay.
So let's just take it back to 2017 when I became addicted to social media.
Okay.
I was going through a breakup, and at the same time of the breakup, I entered this class called stage rendering that it was going to teach us, it taught us how to illustrate shadows, how to work with pencil, how to illustrate different textures, how to work with perspective, how to render figures, human figures, whatever, different clothing.
And what were you studying at the time?
I was just going for a BA in theater, super general. And I actually had to ask permission to join the stage rendering class. It was only for designers. I think I was the only actor in that class.
Okay.
But then, that like those first days of school are so nice that they ask you to get the materials.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys are gonna need a sketchbook, a set of 12 pencils.
Feels like Harry Potter and everything. It's wonderful. Yeah.
Just like everything's so perfect and cozy. I made it.
Hell yeah.
So, dude, I don't know. The moment that I got those sketchbooks and those pencils, and I was just like doing the homework, I was just like, oh no, I'm not doing homework, I'm having an orgasm.
Ooh.
I'm just like, oh my god, what?
The blending and
This is my homework. And then it automatically brought me back to when I was around 7 or 8 years old in Venezuela, Valencia, that I was in art classes, and And when I was little, really little, like probably 4 to 9, I always wanted to be an artist. And I was obsessed with like these art kits very expensive art kits that my parents could never get for me. But I remember when I was little, I always wanted to be an artist. And I remember that I was obsessed with doodling the naked body, like the woman naked body. And I would draw these really voluptuous women, like giant breasts, tiny waist, giant hips. And my mom would start telling me, hey, girl, you gotta stop doing that. You gotta draw something else. Like, this is very vulgar. And I would keep going and going and going and going. And like maybe a few weeks later, I was supposed to be doing homework and I'm still drawing this like, and my mom catches it. She gets home from work and she's like, okay, that's it. Like, you're drawing something else. Like, you can't draw that anymore. And I stopped. And then look at my art now. It's just a bunch of women. Do you keep up with my art at all?
Of course, 100%.
It's a bunch of women.
It is.
All of them skinny. All of them big titties.
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's like I put it away. Like, my mom suppressed it when I was 8, 9. But then I unlocked it when I was 23.
And it came pouring out. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. And at what point were you like, hey, there's something here? Like, because there's a lot of people that try new things, that are passionate about new things. And, some people that try, quote unquote, hobbies. What was the difference that made this not a hobby and something that you were going to pursue in a more professional manner?
The moment that people started reaching out, telling me that they were going to pay for it.
So your original intention of posting your stuff on social media was just to show it? It wasn't to... Were you trying to get commissions? Were you trying to become a more professional artist?
At all. I was just having fun. No. Actually, the moment that to me, that's actually kind of a hard question or something really hard to remember.
Right.
Why were you posting it? Because I monetized it so quickly. I got hired so quickly that I don't even recall when it was that I was just when was the first time that you posted it just for pure pleasure? I wouldn't be able to remember because I got hired immediately.
Wow.
It was crazy.
Talk to me about the first commission. Were you nervous?
First commission was, if I'm not mistaken, Cartier.
Say it again?
Cartier, the jewelry.
Oh, for real?
Perfumer.
Oh shit. Well, that was one way to start.
I'm not kidding.
Oh, wow.
I'm not kidding.
Okay, gosh. Okay, wow. That's massive.
Yeah, man. And it's been up and down.
Okay. I mean, as with any artistic endeavor.
But when you start off so high and you're not even looking for that high, it's just like, oh. And it kind of backfired on me.
In what sense?
It fed my ego too much, naturally.
Were you kind of expecting to keep the same standard the entire time?
I was expecting the same kind of work to come my way, but I wasn't putting in the work for that kind of work to come my way. So how did that come about? Do you remember Adri Fuentes? She was one grade below us, so she was 2012.
Okay. I mean, if I see a picture, probably.
She worked in the communications department of Cartier back in 2017, and she followed me on IG, and she would see my illustrations, probably like the few couple illustrations that I was posting back then, and she reached out through DMs, and she's like, hey, I need an illustrator ASAP. I work in the communications department at Cartier. They're having a luncheon in the Grand Canyon. They're relaunching this watch and we need an illustration for the invitation. And I was like, yeah, of course. And I reach out to one of my really close girlfriends and who's an illustrator, and I'm like, girl, how much do I charge? And she's like, this. And I'm like, okay. And I pitch it and they're like, okay, yeah, go draw it, do the sketch. And I'm just like, my first gig, Cartier, and I'm just like sketching, and it has to be done by the day after.
Oh,
fuck. It's gotta be quick. But I did it. And that's on my resume now. And I put it on my resume and I'm like, what?
Wow.
That was my first gig.
God, I mean, that's such a high note to begin with, you know? Like, how do you beat that?
I don't know. And that's the funny part. Like, at this point, you know, right now, it's 2021. 4 years later, I'm actually in a pickle. I don't know how to work with something like that again. I don't know if to reach out to an agency, an illustration agency that focuses on like beauty and fashion, that can hook it up with something as delicious as Cartier again. But I know I'll find my way. It's not like I doubt it. I just really don't know at this point. Like,
there's not a doubt in the world. You know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, this woman is so talented. You can see some of her work on the screen right there. You know what I'm saying? It's right there. It's right there. It's right there. You know what I'm saying? It's beautiful. It's amazing. Okay, look at the work. Honestly, it speaks for itself. You know, I was very honored to be able to receive some of those pictures beforehand, to be able to see, I mean, I've seen her work beforehand, but I mean, you guys, you can see it now yourself too on YouTube. You know, if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, you're slacking, check out the YouTube. Nino, do you have a preference when it comes to, you know, you're talking about working for companies or working for private collectors? Is there a preference? You know, when there's a company, there might be maybe a higher expectation, or maybe there's a lot of voices that are telling you, hey, I need this, and this is the deadline. Whereas a private collector might just be like, hey, you know what? Whenever you get it done, it's done.
oh my God, I much rather work either for myself or a private collector, which 90% of the time, they happen to be a close friend of mine.
Nice. Very cool. So they're not going to pressure you about it.
Oh my God, no.
And that's the worst.
They'll buy the painting, they'll buy the frame, and I'll hold on to the painting and the frame, and they'll take a month reaching out to pick up the painting. So it's literally paid for, decorating my house, and they're just like, yeah, keep it. Like, I'll pass by when I can.
Very cool. Wow. Yeah, I mean that's, you can't really do it have you been in a situation where someone was pressuring you like, hey, I need this
Cartier.
Okay.
Had to be done the next day. After Cartier, not much after, Telemundo.
Tell us about that project.
Okay. This is the beauty of networking and putting yourself out there.
Okay.
I studied acting for most of my life.
Shout out acting.
Shout out Madruga.
Shout out Madruga. Oh yes, shout out Madruga. Beautiful man.
And I have my agency, and I booked this. So Lay's in Spanish is, I think it's Sabritas.
Okay, yeah.
Papitas.
Okay, yeah.
And I booked it as an extra, but like as a principal extra. So I'm not just like extra all over there. No, I'm like, okay, you can still kind of see me.
I'm a SAG union extra. Like, let's get it right, okay?
And I had the immense pleasure of working with this Venezuelan director called Jorge Colon.
Shout out Jorge.
Big shout out to Jorge. And I don't know how, but he found out that I was Venezuelan.
Okay.
And I don't know what it was about. I don't know if it was makeup, my hair, my outfit, but I guess my image didn't come across as Venezuelan. But when he found out that I was, I guess through like one of the stylists or one of the makeup artists, I think they told him or something, and he's like, "Are you Venezuelan?" In the middle of the shoot, in the middle of a scene, and mind you, Juan, we're working with like over 100 people.
Oh my God.
Like it's
a production.
There's a lot of, and like we're holding like for a shot, and he's like, I'm like, yeah. He's like, from what part? Caracas. He's like, oh my God. And like, sí, ¿por qué? ¿Qué pasa? Like, oh my God, you have an accent. And I'm like, yeah, what's up? And he's like, but you sound so American. And I'm like, well, yeah, because I've been here forever. Hey, I tell him like we have to keep going. Like,
right.
Let's shoot. He's like, right. I always say there's nothing more pleasurable for a Venezuelan than another Venezuelan.
Oh, I bet. I mean,
is that the same for Argentina?
100%. I mean, 100%. 100%. I mean, you kind of, you're like, did you eat asado today? Like, you know, like what's going on?
I can smell it.
Yeah,
oh,
for sure.
Man. Yeah,
for
there's nothing more like,
your country. That's your countryman, you know?
So I don't know. We kept shooting the next day. The next day, like he says hi to me con un besito y todo. That's it. And then I follow him on Instagram because the thing is, he was epic to work with.
Okay. Like, muy buena onda.
He's this older man. He's a grandpa, but the energy that he has,
Love that.
the diaphragm that he used, like his voice just fills up this entire station. And I was just like, no, I love this man, and I'm gonna see him again, and I'm gonna be involved with him in some way or shape, form, and in my future, and like I love him. Period. Like, you know when you love someone, you're like, you're part of my team.
Right there. Yeah.
I love you.
There you go.
So I follow him on Instagram, and then he starts looking at my paintings because this is when I started, and I was really inspired. So I would post any little doodle that I was painting. I was filming it, and I was posting it. Stories had just come out, 2017.
Boom, boom, boom.
Stories. Stories revolutionized.
Stories were iconic. Yeah, stories
Are iconic.
Are iconic. I mean, they pretty much shut down what? Snapchat.
Sorry, Snapchat. Yeah.
Right? Was it Snapchat?
TikTok.
What was that under what? Vine.
Vine. Like now your reels are the equivalent.
Right. Reels.
Yeah, stories are more powerful than that actual post.
Than the feed, yeah, 100%.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Especially when you're dating or talking to somebody.
Right.
You like, or when you're interested in somebody and like maybe they're ignoring you, but they're posting, you can see where they are.
Right.
And they can see that you're seeing.
It's like totally spies over here.
Very, very, very sketchy in there.
Okay.
But anyway, he starts seeing all my videos, my time lapses of my drawing, and he hires me. He's like, hey, we should work together. And I'm like, listen, I admire you so much. So literally anything that you want me to be part of, any project, like I'm down. Like, yeah, keep me in mind. And he's like, okay, let me think. And like a week later, he's like, hey, I'm throwing you into this project for Telemundo. They're gonna reach out to you soon. And like, it's funny, 2 weeks or 3 weeks after I'm working as an extra, sweating my butt off under the sun, waking up at 5 a.m. to be on set.
That call time is no joke. Oh
Actually, the first day, we shot 2 days. The first day, the call time was 5, so I woke up at 4.
Bro. And craft services for extras are, bro, it's like.
Yeah, it's like peanut butter crackers.
They're like, hey, here's a chewy bar. And then the actors are like, hey, how's caviar?
And I was shooting as an extra at 4 a.m. one day, and 3 weeks later I'm at a design table with Jorge Colon, and I was just like, you know, I'm not saying that it happened because I'm Venezuelan and like we had that funny interaction,
It happened because you're talented.
But it wouldn't have happened if I wouldn't have taken that job as an extra. Period. Like that little moment of that interaction.
Right. Which, kind of brings me to my next question. What role did acting have on your illustration career? You know, do you feel that you were able to, to come out of your shell a little bit more because of your theatrical background and be able to express yourself through your paintings in a clearer way, or did it not play a role at all? Tell me.
No, it plays a role. Maybe I cannot right now tell you exactly how they're synchronized or where the link is, but I feel it in my gut that is intertwined. And when I'm watching a movie and I see a beat or a moment in which an actor looks at somebody else the type of way that I'm just like, oh no, that's exactly what I have to paint. I have to paint that because that's a poster.
Do you find yourself having these random urges to paint something, and do you also have those urges to to play a role, to act as well when you see a movie, or is it not there anymore?
I don't ever desire to act. No.
Is there a reason behind that? You just found a new love?
Yeah, there's no reason behind it. My desires when I'm watching, let's say, Kill Bill Volume 2, one of my favorite movies, or Shampoo, the 70s movie. I look at something, or Rosemary's Baby. I look at movies like this, and I'm like, I look at certain scenes and I'm like, oh my God, I have to paint that.
Yeah, the cinematography is crazy.
I have to draw that. I have to illustrate that. And then you can go on Photoshop and like scan your drawing and like make a poster.
Right.
Oh my God, like, can I get hired to do posters?
Oh my God, that'd be amazing. Oh, I can only imagine a movie poster by Nino. Oh, that would be remarkable. Oh my God.
Do you know Carlos Reyes from Reagan? He graduated like class of
Yes.
2009 or 2010.
Right. I'm a pictures guy, but yeah.
He's a cinematographer, filmmaker. He shot his first feature film. I don't remember when he shot it, but he shot it, and it was here in Miami, and I drew the poster.
Oh, very cool. Okay,
yeah,
okay.
That's my first gig with cinema.
Oh my God. Can you send that over?
Of course.
Okay, well then you guys see it on the screen. You know what I'm talking about. It's on the screen.
Temple in the Palms. That's
Wow.
what it's called. Beautiful movie.
Wow. You see it on the screen, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, how talented. Oh my God. Nino, do you have a preference when it comes to doing things in a digital manner over what would you consider that? Analog?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, of course. There's some things that I want to draw that automatically call for an iPad, but there's other things that are just like, okay, no, this is watercolor. And last but not least, there are things that just come to you. They come shooting through your veins, and you want to do it with a pencil.
Oh, I know exactly. I mean, I experience that writing, like, because sometimes I'll do like spoken word or things like that. So I can totally relate in that manner. Oh, just there's no feeling like. What has been your experience like with the digital medium? Do you like Procreate? Do you dabble in that? Is it difficult to learn? Talk to me.
I don't think it's difficult to learn. I think it's fascinating. It's just a matter of necessity, probably. So if you're designing a tattoo or an album artwork for a band or an artist, you won't Procreate. Now, if someone hires you to do watercolor work, you can still get it done on Procreate.
Yeah.
But if you can do your watercolor work on watercolor and watercolor paper, then you should probably just do that.
Yeah.
And have a really nice scanner. So it's just delicious to work on this tiny paper and then scan it and blow it up. It's just like,
Wow. Oh.
Delicious.
Delicious.
Yeah.
And that's the word for the day right there. That's delicious. I love that.
Brunch at Ninos is delicious.
Brunch at Ninos has been the social highlight of my life. Okay, can I say that? Brunch at Ninos, listen, if you have not been, Brunch at Ninos is the equivalent of MTV's My Super Sweet 16. All right, let's be frank. That's what's going on, and if you don't know that, now you know. Nino, talk to me about your inspirations. You know, are there any artists or illustrators that when you were first starting out that, you know, you saw their work and you're just like, oh my God, like, how do you do this? You know, is there who motivates you, who pushes you to better your craft?
Lee Ellickson.
Shout out. You see them on the screen.
Lee Ellickson was a huge inspiration. I'm not even a fan. It's funny. I'm not even a fan of her work. Like, I've known her for 4 years and I've never bought a print. And her prints are cheap. They're $10.
Oh, wow.
But it's not even her work. It's what she did. It's the fact that she created this. She probably makes $120,000 a year off drawing stuff that you would hang up on your baby's nursery.
What?
It's really cute stuff. It's like she draws bunnies and red pandas and mermaids. Like right now we're about to enter May. She does this like mermaid challenge.
Oh, okay.
And just that entrepreneurial aspect of her really did something in me.
All right.
Because like when I found her, I was also finding like my own talent, and I was like, oh, I can do this. Like I can turn my talent into a business. And she was just showing me that. So again, I'm not like a huge fan of her work because it's just like nursery art. That's what I would call it.
Right.
It's a 28-year-old just like me. She actually has like 5 tattoos. She's like this really cool, hip looking girl that does nursery art.
That's fucking
Leah
cool.
Lixon. And she was huge inspiration. I also just love YouTube. I'm a YouTube fiend, and I love vlogs and looking at just people talk to the camera.
Right.
Jamie Lee Rearding is a high-end illustrator who does gouache and watercolor, and she just illustrates like these really high-end looking women. Like they all look like heartbroken but very rich.
How delicious, you know?
They just look like they're suffering, but they like that they're suffering. They're just like
On that
like very
BDSM
like
vibe.
Lana Del Rey
Okay, gotcha.
vibes, and
Totally
she
get
just
it.
like she got me. Like oh, so Lee, Jamie, and George Barbier. Do you know George Barbier?
Me suena.
He's his 1920s, 1930s.
Oh, yes.
French illustrator, very great Gatsby,
Yes,
Art Deco.
Yes.
When I would look at that stuff back in 2017, when I was going through like my Nino Renaissance, that's what I call it.
Ooh, the Nino Renaissance.
That's when I started painting. I got into George Barbier, and I don't even remember how I found him, but I was just like, oh, my life when I'm 30 and when I'm like in my 40s and stuff, like my life will be like this. This is what we're aiming for.
Respect. Love that.
I don't know what that means, but
Hell yeah. That's a memoir. That's beautiful. That's beautiful right there. You know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, every single week we have two segments. You know what I'm talking about? And the first one is actually the movie review of the week. You know what I'm talking about? And every single week we ask our illustrious guests, beautiful guests, whomever that may be, for a suggestion, a recommendation, something that they could not, suggest to our guests more as far as like a movie, a TV show. Hell, Emu gave us a video game. Shout out Emu. So any suggestion that you may have for our listeners as far as, any media that you're like, you have to watch this.
I'm going to give 2.
Love it.
So there's Shampoo. It came out in the 70s. I don't remember specifically when, but there's Shampoo. The protagonist is Warren Beatty. And you got Carrie Fisher. It was her first appearance in film.
Okay. Wow.
Gorgeous Carrie Fisher. Very clever, witty, interesting character. You got 2 really dude, like I know their names, but this is my second drink tonight, and I forgot.
Sin pena. You're good.
But Shampoo is just like, if you like Tarantino's, you're gonna like Shampoo.
Love it.
Period. And then you got King and the Mockingbird. It's an animated film. It took over 30 years to come out.
Wow. Shout out Boyhood. It reminds me of that. Well, Boyhood, it was
12.
only... Boyhood, yeah, it was like 12, right? 12 or 18? No, 12, because he started when he was already... Yeah.
King and the Mockingbird. Okay, so Studio Ghibli.
Uh-huh.
Hayao Miyazaki claims that if he hadn't watched... Or he claims that by watching King and the Mockingbird is what got him into Studio Ghibli movies. That was the inspiration for these movies. King and the Mockingbird.
30 years.
Yeah.
Wow. Dude, bro, I can't even get people to commit to one damn date. That's crazy. 30 years.
Julie Christie, Shampoo. She's like the main lady in Shampoo. Julie Christie. I just had to get that out there. I'm not that drunk.
No, you're good. How many stars would you give it out of 5 stars each film?
King and the Mockingbird, both of them 4.5.
Ooh, okay.
4.5.
4.5, but it's up
Period.
there. It's up there. Okay, all right.
5 being Kill Bill Volume 2.
Right. Or cheaper by the dozen or whatever the case,
Maybe.
I'm kidding. Nino, if there was one thing that I definitely wanted to, talk to you about, and this was way back, a while back ago, and we never even got a chance to talk about it, but now we do. Talk to me about your endeavor as far as traveling. New York, LA, New York, Miami, New York. I bet you got a bunch of miles in there
God.
to your American Airlines account. So talk to us a little bit about that. What went on there? What were some lessons learned?
Oh my God.
Talk to us about that experience.
I think if you don't have to go anywhere, don't go.
Is that how you would summarize that trip?
That's no. Chaotic would be the summation of that chapter of my life. My family and I make a joke of it. It's like, oh, Nino was on tour.
Marco made that joke. I love it.
She was on tour.
She was on tour.
She had to do it. No, I think lesson learned is that you can't escape your problems. They're gonna come right along with you. The answers are within you. I read a quote on Twitter last night. It was like, that thing that you're looking for on the outside is inside staring at you. Like, you don't have to, so people wake up and they're like, yeah, I have to go to New York. I have to go to LA. I'm going to Paris. I'm going to Seattle. Like, no. Save your money.
Right. We got a Pepitos right here in Doral. There's no reason.
Go to a bar, buy yourself a little pint, and sit down and journal. Like, what's up, girl? Like, talk to yourself. How are you going to know what your thoughts look like if you don't write them down? Really check in with yourself. Why are you leaving? What your family's here, your main group of friends is here. Like, why are you leaving? And then, if all the answers point towards another place, okay, fine, go. Or if it's only temporary, fine, go take that class, go take that course, that workshop, whatever. But the way that I left Miami was very abrupt. It was very violent. It was chaotic, and I don't recommend it.
Did you go pursuing something over there where you once you got to? Did you first go to New York or LA?
I went to New York first, back in 2018, and then it was too cold when I got there, and we bought a ticket to California, Anaheim, 45 minutes away from LA, Disneyland.
Respect.
What was that other thing that you said respect for?
I mean, I say there's a lot of respects in here.
That was so funny. Depression.
Depression.
Respect.
Respect. Let's be honest.
Oh my God. We bought a ticket to Anaheim, and it was cool because, it wasn't as cold as New York. But again, like, we were just so lost. And then we went to LA like 3 weeks later. And then in LA, we were there for 7 months. There was no plan. There was never like okay, this is what I'm trying to do by moving to New York / LA. Like, there was.
Right. It was up in the air.
Nothing. My parents had just asked me, hey, you need to move out of the house. And I was like, okay, I'm leaving. And I could have just moved like 5 houses away. I could have just rented out a room.
Right.
Period. But no, I was just like rebelling. I was like, no, I'm leaving the state. I'm moving to New York and smoking cigarettes for breakfast.
How French.
Period. And yeah, LA. And then after 7 months, LA was just so boring. And then.
Was it?
For me.
Okay.
I also don't think I had the proper LA experience. Because I think if you're going to move somewhere and claim that you moved to that place, you better like go out and meet locals from that place. I wasn't going out. I was just addicted to social media. I wasn't going out. I was just in the house, smoking a lot of weed, trying to make a lot of art, and not doing much with my life. I just didn't. I don't want to. I want to give that Nino from 2019, I want to give her some compassion, and I want to give her some space to just like, okay, like, you were doing the best that you thought back then. But I wasn't doing much. I just didn't have, it's not just about being goal oriented, because it's okay if you're not goal oriented. It's about like how much work you're putting in on that day-to-day basis. And I wasn't even trying. It was a very cloudy moment in my life. 7 months passed in that limbo, and I was like, okay, I'm going back to Miami because I don't feel good here. Like, clearly, like there's nothing going on here for me. And I bought a one-way to Miami, and then I randomly got a job in New York as a production assistant, and I took it. And so I went to New York in 2019.
As a PA on what?
CBS. They had this. They were premiering this show, Evil. And I was a production assistant in the construction department.
How was that?
Horrible.
Why? You didn't feel the luxuries of fame?
I mean, have you ever been a PA?
Yeah.
So you're a cockroach when you're a PA.
Right. You get everybody's coffee.
Yeah, and bagels and
Bagels, yeah. You're like,
cream
don't forget the
cheese
bagels, yeah.
and cream cheese with chives. Yeah, no, like my call time was 5 a.m. or my call time was 6 a.m. I had to be up at 5. There were perks. I was getting like $1,000 every week. I had a car in New York. Having a car in New York, it might sound dumb at first.
No, that's a massive luxury.
But when you're determined to move to New York and you have to make several trips to IKEA,
Right.
You realize like, oh, no, I need this car.
Right.
I don't know how, like you see a mom in the subway with 5 kids and you're like, bitch, get a car.
Yeah. Oh my God. It's intense. And as a PA, I mean, did you feel any sort of, did you feel like you were getting anywhere near closer to getting in someone's face? If at the time, yeah?
Oh yeah, many times.
As far as like them actually seeing you, respecting you as a performer and not just someone that gets coffee.
Yeah, and even the people that I worked with would tell me like, girl, you're exactly where you need to be. All you gotta do is talk to one of these producers and show them what you're showing me. Because I would show them like the stuff that I have on Spotify, or I would show them my art, and they would be like, oh no, you're good. You're in the soup. All you gotta do is stay here and show them what you got. And I was getting close to one of the producers, and he was kind of creepy. He'd be like, hey, let's go for drinks. And I was like,
Yeah, damn, that's horrible.
And listen, I'm down. I'm down for drinks, and I'm down to hang out just like we are right now. I'm down for like a good laugh, a good talk. Nothing wrong with that. But it was
clear his intentions were different than yours.
I don't know. I never went for drinks. I don't even remember the name of the guy. It doesn't matter. But the point is that despite how close I might have been to making it, let's call it that.
Whatever that is.
Right. However close I was to, like, oh, no, Ninotchka, let's give her a big break.
Right.
No, I still was very uncomfortable doing that job, and I had to leave. And my gut told me, like, no, you have to quit, and you have to do your art, do your own thing. Because let's take it back to making it. Like,
right.
Gamero, I feel like I already made it.
Preach. Let it out.
Life is weird.
Oh, yeah.
Life is really weird. Life is really wild. And the whole, okay, yeah, like that's a big break, or she made it.
Right.
I no longer feel any of that. Like, I feel like I made it a long time ago. And every day that I wake up and I'm in my house back in Doral, after my tour, after Brooklyn, LA, and I get to wake up in my house. That's my brother. May I get that?
Go for it.
Oh, he's like, he was in the
I'm
podcast.
so glad it wasn't me.
I'm not gonna lie, I totally thought that was the alarm for sure.
I was like,
You're good. But yeah, so Nino. You good?
Yep.
We're
good.
I mean, I'm still thinking about just not it being me.
No,
I'm
you're good,
sorry.
you're good.
My heart literally dropped.
Yeah, I totally saw you. I totally saw you. But you know what? That's a perfect segue for the next. You know what I'm saying? Because I said we have two. I said not one. I said two segments every single week, ladies and gentlemen. And the second one is the quest for the truth. You know what I'm talking about? And in this here segment, I get a random card from this here deck of cards, emphasis on the word random. And I ask our illustrious guests and everybody else around here as well, that random question, and we will see. I'm trying to get something that we have not done before. I believe we have not. All right. All right. All right. All right. Here's what we're going to do.
Dale.
All right. Here we go. Finally. All right. Nino, what are some of your personal rules that you refuse to break?
I can't believe you just asked me that.
I just did. Excuse the Tokyo drift in the background.
I can't believe you just asked me that. I'm working on that. I'm working on the personal manifesto.
Okay.
Because I think a lot of people need it.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like, you need to wake up and be like, I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to do this and this.
100%.
And this is how I'm going to be a person.
Right.
I'm really bad at following my own rules.
Give me some of the rules that you're trying to implement.
Okay. I'm trying to post. If I post a story on Instagram, I'm trying to not check who saw it.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Why? Because that's a problem?
That's a problem.
Yeah?
I think they should maybe get rid of that.
Right.
Like that shouldn't be a feature on Insta.
Like, creep on me. I don't care. Like,
right.
I don't
What
need to know.
Fuck. It's like the whole, it's not my business who's talking about me.
Right. It's like, that's not my...
Because Instagram, without getting too deep into it, Instagram is becoming a powerhouse of a dating app.
It is, what is it, quote unquote, slide in the DMs. I mean, it's the most, 2020, or I guess like 2021, 2020 and beyond thing. I mean, sliding in the DMs has been an age-old thing for a while.
We all do it.
Right.
Even subconsciously, we all do it.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody's got different intentions.
Right. I mean, I do it to get guests. I mean...
Boo-hoo.
Right.
Whatever. But when it comes to dating, I think it's very dangerous. Because I've seen people post certain things and then they're just looking at who's looking, either to make them jealous or, to confirm, yeah, they do like me. Oh.
Which is like, damn, how insecure. Like, that's insecure, Like, it's like, I don't need to know.
I don't know. I'm talking to some girls and they'll be like, no, yeah, Juan looks at my stuff. Like, he likes me. Like, bitch, Juan could have forgot that his stove was on and he went to turn it off and your story was just playing. Like,
yeah.
You don't know that
It's happened too.
And that's the problem. I think people are relying heavily on that report
for validation, which is crazy.
And it's crazy. It's crazy. People have to stop. Like, I've been hanging out with people and I'm just like, you know what's funny, Juan? That people are looking at this list of who saw your story subconsciously. Like, people no longer care if there's people around you that are looking at you doing it. I don't know. If I saw it, I'd be so embarrassed. Like,
right, 100%.
I do that in private. I'm like,
right.
Okay, he saw it. I'm good.
For sure, you got to do it in private.
But I've seen people do it in the middle of the club, in the middle of brunch, and I'm just like, oh, you really don't give a fuck. Like, you're curating content for fulanito to see it.
For
Period.
Sure. And fulanito doesn't care. I mean,
He might.
He might.
But
sometimes they don't.
Well, Fulanito sometimes catches on to the fact that you're curating content for them.
Oh, yeah. And then you stop looking.
And then you stop looking.
And then you go to Insta stories that are you, and you can view that shit anonymously. You know what I'm saying? And that's facts. No, and that's facts. You know what I'm saying? And that's facts. Juan, or actually Cruz. I'm sorry, my bad, Cruz. What about yourself? What are some personal rules that you refuse to break?
It's way too deep of a question. I think it's really layered, because like you followed up with like, what are you trying to do? And like that second part is really necessary, because we're not perfect.
Right.
So it's like we can't really like not do something. Sometimes it's like part of you, and like you really try to subdue it. You really try to like not be proud of it. But a perfect example, maybe being like driving fast. Like you want to get to a place in a hurry, but you know like lane skipping like would only make at max like 2 minutes of a fucking difference. Like counting the red lights, and like everybody's gonna get to that red light at the same time. Doesn't matter if I'm cutting you off or not. But regardless, you're still lane skipping, and you're still driving like a maniac. I'm not doing that. But it's like part of you. Right. And you're not proud of it, but you recognize that you have to stop.
So I think there's a fine line between, setting a goal for yourself that you really want to accomplish and that you resort back to, and then a rule. Like, for example, a rule that I know people follow down to a T. For example, when it comes to like religion, maybe, if your religion requires you to pray a certain amount of times per day, I know they're not going to be like, oh, well, I tried. No, like that's something they do. Like that's a rule, and like that's not wavering. So I think there's a fine line. But no, I mean for sure, 100%. Like you gotta definitely set real expectations and try to break them. And if for whatever reason you don't accomplish them, you can't beat yourself up too hard.
Exactly.
Either,
you can't like be your worst
For me,
own critic.
One that I've really stood by has been washing my face. I'm 28 years old, so I obviously have to start looking out for my skincare.
The moneymaker.
And my vitality.
There you go.
And if you don't you can wear all the makeup in the world. I think you really can, but you have to take it off at night. Period.
Ooh, that's a bar.
You can take it off with olive oil, or you can take it off with Chanel makeup remover, but you have to take it off. And for me, that's been really hard.
For real?
Oh my God. Because you get home too drunk. and you're like, oh, well, this is not the end of the world.
No, I mean I've been there, just like doing like theatrical shows, and like after the performance I'm so tired, and you still have to go home and take off the stage makeup. Stage makeup is like 3 inches thick. It's ridiculous. Like it's intense, and it takes a lot for it to remove. It's a whole novela. So
yeah, I think that's the one, because I have many things in my personal manifesto. Jesus, I mean, if in an ideal world, Nino wakes up at 5 a.m. She meditates for half an hour. She journals. She does some stretches. She practices her splits.
nice.
And she listens to Mahler. And I don't fucking do that, dude. I wake up and I look at Instagram. And I used to fucking look at who's looking at my stories right now. I'm not even posting stories.
Ooh.
So I'm just like, okay, look at that shit real quick. Any in DMs? Like, do I have any commissions? Like, is anyone like offering to give me money? Okay, no. Let's go make coffee. I go make coffee. I say good morning to my dad. I'm like, okay, cool. I sign up for my Pilates that day. I do Pilates. And I'm just like, okay, sign up for any class. Like, oh, is there a class going on right now? Let's go. Like, I don't know. I do day by day. I break a lot of my rules, and it breaks my heart. But the rule that I don't break is the makeup. Like, I'm wearing makeup right now, and that's gonna be off as soon as I get home.
Right.
Period. Rules that I break: cigarettes and weed. Like, I say that I'm never, oh yeah, I'm never gonna smoke a cigarette again in my life. And then if I go to a brewery or if I go to a party and one of my friends that still smokes cigarettes has a cigarette, I'm just like, or they offer it because they know I love it. And we all have a joke. Like, my homies are like, you want some Nino teen?
Oh my God. That's horrible.
And my mom tells me, like, oh man, a cigarette, 2 cigarettes a day won't kill you. Because my mom saw her grandma smoke 2 cigarettes a day, one for lunch, one for dinner. And she died like at 90.
Oh, wow.
So there's little things like that I promise myself, like, you're going to be above it. You're so much better than this. Don't smoke cigarettes. Nino, come on. That's like not part of the brand. That's so detrimental to the brand.
The
like
brand has some brand awareness.
we don't smoke cigarettes. And then you see me at 2 a.m. like, oh. No, we smoke cigarettes.
Oh my God. Do you think that weed or cigarettes or alcohol or anything like that, do you think that that it helps you when you're illustrating? Does
Yeah.
it? You're like, yeah, I'm not even gonna. What do you say so?
Cause, okay, so when I'm drawing a certain sketch, I love to draw girls.
Okay.
These very elegant, lean girls. Like a lot of them, even if you don't see them, because a lot of them just like end up in my sketchbook and nobody sees that. But a lot of these girls are just smoking a cigarette. Like at the end of the sketch, it's just like, oh, boom, hand, cigarette, smoke. It just looks gorgeous.
Have you ever done a joint instead?
I don't really, it's up to the spectators'
Right. Oh, okay,
imagination.
I like that.
You can
Very
never
cool.
tell. It's
You can never
literally
tell.
just a line, like a
Oh,
line
okay.
coming off her fingers, and like, oh, okay, like there's she's smoking something.
Gotcha. Okay, very cool. Wow. Something hidden in the artwork. Okay. All right. I like it. Do you prefer when people are ordering or they're trying to speak to you regarding a new piece? Do you have a preference as far as them telling you, hey, this is what I want done? As far as like, I want my dog, whatever, something custom, or do you prefer when they just want something that you've already done?
100%. I want them to order what I already did.
Yeah? You don't like
That's-
the challenge?
No. No. Unless it's something that I'm very passionate about. Like, I'm not going to be passionate about your puppy.
Right.
Period.
I don't know your puppy. He didn't do shit for me.
But I'm going to be passionate if Cartier hires me for anything.
Right, of course.
Like, we need you to design our new garbage cans. Okay.
Gotcha. Say less. They're gonna be delicious.
Like last night, I had a client come over and pick up a painting that they had already bought, and they were hanging out, and that painting was just hanging out at my house. And they come to my house and they're like, Nino, I want to buy more paintings from you. And I'm like, really? No way. It's like, and I tell him, I love to draw girls, like, just so that I know. You want me to keep drawing girls? And he's like, mm-hmm. And I tell him, actually, there's this girl that I was drawing last week that I was about to throw her away, but I didn't. You wanna see her? Maybe you wanna buy her? And he's like, absolutely. And I'm like, 30 seconds. I leave. I go back inside my house. I go upstairs. I get the painting. I come back downstairs, and I bring him this, like, it's 24 inches by 18, and he's like, it's funny because to me it's garbage, but to him it's just like, he's like, how much? And I'm like, you can tip me whatever you want. I'm not gonna sell that to you. Like, to me that's garbage. You can tip me. And he's like, no, Nino, give me a price. I need to buy this. I'm like, no, tip me whatever you want. Like, have it, you can tip me. And he's like, nope, I'm not gonna do that. Listen, frame her and I'll buy her. And I'm like, there's nothing better for me than that. There's nothing better for me than someone wanting to buy my garbage.
I feel like that's the ultimate validation. And I mean, it also goes to speak as far as like your level, your standard, your level of requirement of what what you need from your paintings. You know what the level that you demand for your work to be at in order for it to be a sellable work of art. How do you find that? How do you determine, hey, this is going to be worth X amount and this is going to be in the garbage?
I mean, I don't know. I'm still learning as I go. I just started. I didn't study fine art. I didn't study business. I'm learning to sell my art as I go. All I know is that my hour as an illustrator, for now, it's 50.
Right.
$50 the hour. Unless I drew it. If I drew it and it came out of my heart, even whether I consider it garbage or not, the whole 50 an hour, that gets lost. Because if that means the world to me, if I only dedicated half an hour to it, but it means the world to me, then it might be 5K.
Yeah, right. So I wanted to ask you, what about the discrepancy? That's another thing. That's a massive thing in the art world. The discrepancy in prices. You can see something that someone, a street artist that no one's gonna look twice at, but it could be a world class, piece of art, and then you get a banana taped on a wall, and that's sold for I forgot how much. So where do you stand there? Do you think that there's some sort of like insanity towards it, or what?
Yeah, I think it's insane. Number one. So that's why you should never take it seriously. Not that you should never take it seriously. In life in general, you should never take anything too seriously because we're all gonna die. We all go through pleasure and pain, and we all poop and we all bleed and we all eat. So period, like don't take anything too seriously, but to take it back to our commoner conversation, this plebeian conversation, it's all about how much you value your hour.
Right.
Because work is work. So it doesn't matter if I doodled or if I conceptualized something and then I executed. Work is work.
Do people still not understand that this is what you do? Do people hit you up and be like, oh, draw me for free, do this?
People will be like, Nino, love your art. Can you paint my boyfriend and I? I will pay you. And I'm like,
como que si, like as if though it's a favor, like
bitch, yes, you're gonna pay me. You're gonna pay me $300 because I don't do that. Like anyone that commissions their, like, oh my grandma died, can you paint her and me? I'm like, yeah, that I can. It's gonna be $300.
Right.
Because I don't want to.
Right, 100%. I mean,
I'd rather paint a big ass like painting of like a naked girl for $50 because that comes from my muscle memory. Like, I've been doing that since I told you when I was 7, 6, 8 years old. I was drawing these titties.
Wow.
It was just pouring out of me.
It's like a scene out of Superbad.
So yeah, here have a fucking napkin, but. No, there's so many things that I just I want to eat and I want to pay my car and my car insurance. So yeah, give me your dead grandpa, I'll pay him. I don't want to. I want to draw some titties.
Right, hell yeah. Draw some titties. And that's the name of the episode right there. That's beautiful right there. That's beautiful. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had an episode of colossal proportions. You know what I'm talking about, with Illustrator Nino in his house. Nino, before we start wrapping up, I just first of all want to thank you so much for coming on. I'm so happy to get to catch up with you.
It was epic.
Yeah, it was epic, definitely.
Little did we know 10 years ago that we'd be here.
Yeah, no, not at all. Little did we know for sure. Shout out to everybody that we know, mutual friends, as far as, shout out Madruga, shout out everybody from Madruga's class, all that good stuff. Nino, before we wrap up, is there anything that you have for the people? I have a question actually that I got in my brain. If there was something that you could tell 7-year-old Nino who can't stop drawing titties, what would you tell her?
Wow. Your mom is the best. Your mom knows what's up, and your mom adores you. But as much as you want to please her, as much as you want to gain her approval, one day she's gonna die, and you only get to go to sleep with your own brain, so you better make yourself happy. So don't stop drawing those titties.
That's motivational.
Because next year you're gonna stop drawing those titties, and it's gonna take you 2 decades to start drawing those titties again. And damn, like, God knows where you could have been had you never stopped drawing those titties. Doesn't matter. It already happened. Everything happens for a reason. God's timing is perfect, but mom did suppress that. And there's a lot that mom doesn't know. Mom was just doing her best, all she could.
Right.
Mama fucking tried.
Yep.
And dude, I adore Ninotchka Hecht is my hero. I adore my mother. You met her. You know she's great.
Beautiful, amazing woman.
I can't explain what I feel towards her. But yeah, like, everybody fucks up, and my mom shouldn't have suppressed that in me, and I would have been elsewhere.
What's the parental's view towards your craft now?
Silence.
Yeah?
They're just hanging in there and waiting for me to despegar. Like, at this point, I've obviously shown, like, that I can do many things, that I am multi-talented.
Oh, yeah. And that's an understatement if there ever was one. And that's a fact. That's a fact. I've seen this woman perform. I've seen this woman's illustrations. I've seen this. I mean, we haven't even gotten into, as far as like bathing suit topics yet.
Another time,
like,
I
that's
guess.
definitely another time, another episode. But it goes to show how talented this woman is.
My parents are just standing by, patiently waiting for me to just like, okay, like that, because I have many concepts and ideas that I come up with. But they're just waiting for that one to be like, okay, that's what you're going to focus on. Okay, go.
Oh, yeah.
That's it. They're lovingly and patiently waiting.
Right. And I mean, that's all they can do. Shout out my parents too. That's all you can do when you have someone that is just fully devoted in some sort of art, whatever form that may be, It is what it is, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen, we have had an episode so massive I cannot put into words. Nino, again, thank you so much for dropping on by today. You have been magnificent. You have been, as Nino would say, delicious. You know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, Brunch at Nino's is the place to be. It's the hot spot. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, come over.
Come over.
Cruise,
you know what I'm saying?
Over. Let's have a brunch.
I would love that. Okay.
Me, my brother, your brothers.
I need emotional.
My cat.
Oh my God.
Grandma.
Grandma
Nino.
Oh my God. Okay. And we're gonna. I'm having a moment over here, okay? Because I just made it, ladies and gentlemen. If this is the last Midnight in Miami episode you ever see, this is why. Because it doesn't get higher than this. You know what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, every Thursday at midnight, you know what I'm saying? What is it? On Apple Podcasts, on Deezer, on
Spotify.
On Spotify, thank you.
My
YouTube.
Heart Radio.
On iHeartRadio, and exactly, more than anything, ladies and gentlemen, on YouTube. So you can see this beautiful woman, you can see her beautiful face, you can see her beautiful artwork on the screen as well.
Buy my art, brunchatninos.com.
Buy her art. And that leads me to my last point. Where can they find you? Where can they find all the beautiful illustrations that you have for sale?
Instagram, Twitter.
Boom, boom, boom. What
Website,
what are the
Brunch at
handles?
Ninos.
What are the handles? Drop 'em.
Brunch at Ninos. Brunch at Ninos. Brunch at Ninos. Brunch at Ninos. What are we having? Brunch at Ninos.
I like it. Boom. You know what I'm saying? And that's mental awareness. You repeat it and you're going to remember it. That's how I memorize my lines. You know what I'm talking about? Ladies and gentlemen, every Thursday at midnight, you know what it is. Holla.
Midnight.
And it don't matter what the world thinks. You can say how you feel on midnight in Miami. Where you can push it to the limit. It gets real with only one and ill. You're locked into midnight.